on satellite, on Freeview, on cable, on radio, on mobile, on the web and around the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7.
Making headlines first at 9. Against elements destroying national peace. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe slams criticism over yet unavailable new constitution. The Speaker's assurance. Karu Jayasuriya says will not ink document which goes against religion or nation. Best way forward. Northern Provincial Councillor Sivajalingam says dialogue on detained LTTE suspects with President needed. Demanding SITEM closure. Over 200 parents of state medical faculty students getting ready for a fast unto death campaign. Making international headlines. Japan snap elections. Shinzo Abe could be Japan's longest serving Prime Minister according to exit polls. Bring you news from home and across the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7. Good evening, I'm Catalonia Chang. Now on to your top story tonight. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe alleges that certain elements are attempting to destroy the national peace process by criticising efforts for the making of a new constitution. The Premier made the remark during an event held at Temple Trees today.
The ceremony to distribute insurance to people affected by floods in Catalonia last year was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe today. 5,000 families belonging to 40 Grama Seva divisions each received over 80,000 rupees worth insurance.
අපි ආපදා ක්‍රමවේදය මීටත් වඩා ශීඝ්‍රයෙන් සහන ලබා දෙන.
We will expedite the process of providing relief to victims of disaster. Usually, if a leader says something like this in public, the media would definitely give prominence to it. But the Sri Lankan print media is attempting to destroy the new constitution making process and sow divisions among different ethnic groups. What do you want with the constitution? We have established a constitution assembly in the parliament already. Why are you trying to destroy this? Talk about the constitution when it is established. Otherwise, people won't accept what you are saying. Some are in favor of the constitution and some are not. Present all your proposals and ideas to us. This kind of instability affects the economy of our country. People only want to live better in the country. But what happens here is an attempt to destroy that process.
Speaker Parliament Karu Jayasuriya says he will not sign a constitution that would bring harm upon Buddhism, any other religion or the country. The Speaker made the remark attending a religious event held at the Holy Rosary Church in Mirigama today.
Various opinions are emerging within the country about a new constitution. However, such a new constitution is not being formulated at present. After a constitution is formulated, the Speaker's signature is necessary in order to legalize it. I clarified to Mahasangha and other religious leaders that at first, many proposals will be made in Parliament from various factions, including those who want the country to be divided. The decision is taken by the members of the Parliament. They will first hold discussions and then present it to religious leaders. It is then that we will take the final decision. Being the chairman of the Constitutional Assembly, I must sign it subsequently. I assert that as long as I live, I will never sign a constitution which could bring harm upon the country, Buddhism or any other religion.
Venerable Professor Bellanvilla Vimaratanathera says that if Parliament approves some proposals put forth by the Steering Committee of the Constitutional Assembly, it will cause future complications. He made this remark following a special meeting at the Kotte Raja Mahavihara today. The Special Working Committee of Sri Kalyani Samagiri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha of Kotte sector convened a meeting this evening.
Today we held discussions pertaining to suggestions put forth by Steering Committee of the Constitutional Assembly. In this series of proposals, there are many alternative proposals on protecting the unitary state of our nation and matters relating to religion. As the Parliament may face issues in the future, if they implement these proposals, we have decided to discard these proposals temporarily. If we require amendments to the constitution, then the necessary changes can be made as required and we can move forward from there.
Chief Minister of the Western Province, Isuradeva Priya, emphasises that the Sri Lanka Freedom Party disagrees with matters related to the unitary state and Buddha Sasana in the new constitution. He also mentioned the President's emphasis on not letting non-governmental organisations influence the constitutional making process. The Chief Minister made these remarks at an event held in Homagama yesterday.
The stance of the SLFP on the constitutional amendments is very clear. The SLFP cannot agree with the issues over the unitary state of the country and Buddha Sasana. Parliamentarian Vimal Weerawansa also discussed their problems regarding the constitution with the President. At the working committee meeting, the President clearly told us that Vimal and the SLFP share the same view on not letting NGOs influence the new constitution.
Northern Provincial Councillor M.K. Sivajalingam says dialogue should be established in order to reach solutions for issues in the country. He added that if one claim it is unsuitable to hold discussions with the head of state regarding the imprisonment of LTTE suspects, it is unfounded. He made these comments convening a media briefing in Jaffna yesterday.
If some assume that the protesting is the only way to seek a solution regarding 3 prisoners fasting in Anuradhapura, they are mistaken. While holding protests, we must also seek discussion. We have all agreed that we are people of United Sri Lanka. In this sense, it is necessary to consult the head of state in this regard. If politicians see this as a wrong move, that means they lack political knowledge. We pity them. If we are to arrive at a solution to problems within the country, we must hold dialogue with the President and the government.
Former chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Narlikar alleges that the previous government was defeated because the then opposition had agreed to conditions made by the international community and diaspora. He made his remarks at a conference organised by the Vietmaga organisation in Gampaha yesterday. Many other scholars also expressed their views during the conference.
How was such a powerful politician like Mahinda Rajapaksa defeated at a time when a decades-long war was ended and the development process just started? The Tamil diaspora and international elements initiated the change by making certain conditions with the opposition party at that time. The first condition was not to let Rajapaksa family hold power again. The second condition was to disgrace tri-forces of the country. The third condition was to make constitutional change so that separatism would continue. My personal idea is that all problems related to minorities ended once the war was concluded. What do we have that they don't? If Sampanthan could be the leader of opposition, if Shiva Pasupati could be the Attorney General, if Sri Pawan could be the Chief Justice, and if Travis can be the Navy Commander, what is the problem here? So why are they trying to bring in a new constitution? This is to satisfy the needs of international community who are against us.
Former General Secretary of the United National Party, T.S. Sathanayake, says that he would re-enter politics with the next presidential election. He made these remarks speaking to journalists following a meeting with the chief incumbent of the Gatnabe Sri Rajopavannaramaya Temple, Venerable Kapitiaguru Siri Wimala Thera.
I think the right time for me to enter active politics is with the next presidential election. Let's see about that with time. It is difficult to determine public opinion. I'm a member of the UMP and I always say that. However, during the presidential election, I have to decide in favor of the nation. The UMP thought they should support President Maithripala Sirisena in order to defeat former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Now the public is evaluating whether that was correct or not. In that situation, my opinion was different. I believe it was the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa who thought of this country's betterment. The future, however, will be extremely crucial.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Derana 24/7.
One Scottish philosopher, Thomas Carlyle, said that a man willing to work and unable to find work is perhaps the saddest sight that fortune's inequality exhibits under the sun. In Sri Lanka, although almost 95% of state university students graduate with the hope of finding employment, most are seen staging protests, claiming they are unemployed. If the university system grants proper education, how can there be a discrepancy between what's provided and what is required? First at 9 takes an in-depth look at what causes unemployment and how to address it.
There are many factors that lead to graduate unemployment issues in Sri Lanka. According to the Department of Census and Statistics, so far in 2017, 300,460 people over the age of 20 years remain unemployed. Most of them are state university graduates.
The main reason I feel that the university system, the graduates that we are producing, they are lacking their technical skills. We are loading our students with highly theoretical knowledge. When they try to apply their knowledge to a practical problem, they find difficulties. We are not allowing our students to develop their own independent thinking, so that when they come to the university level, their technical skills are in a certain level. So the university curriculum, we can adjust in a way, employability is not going to be a problem in future.
The mismatch of the university degrees with the industry requirements has resulted in a massive crisis, for which Sri Lankan education system is often at fault. State university students spend a minimum of 3 years completing undergraduate studies and graduate with high expectations, most of which wither when they are left to find employment. We spoke to a state university graduate to find out how she feels about such a possible forthcoming situation.
When it comes to graduates, this problem is not something that affects individually. This problem can affect these individuals' families as well. Now it's high time that the government had come up with a proper mechanism to give proper answers to this burning issue.
Unemployment not only affects graduates, but also presents a significant threat to day-to-day activities and long-term political stability of a nation. What approach should Sri Lanka take to rectify this issue, which often becomes a hot topic in the eyes of the media and in the political arena?
The university system must give more emphasis on technical aspects of the certain subjects. We have to produce graduates who are capable of starting their own business rather than depending on the government or the private institutions. And if we can address those issues, we can somehow manage to limit this unemployability.
Meanwhile, the private sector had this to say on their preferences and expectations when recruiting a state university graduate.
Mainly, we are looking at the strong basics from them, then soft skills that covers their communication, interpersonal skills, leadership, as well as the exposure to the ethics of the industry. I think part of this can be done within the university itself. If they are given opportunities to do more activities outside their core curriculum, where they can actually practice some of these soft skills, apply the interpersonal skills as teams, and also get more internship opportunities while they are in the university.
Senior lecturer of the Faculty of Law, Dr. Pratibha Mahanamaheva, also expressed his views on issue of unemployment.
Industry requirements are fulfilled by professional courses, and international university branches are there, their degree awarding certificate, as well as the training. So all state university, most of the time, they are unemployed. So immediately, this university system should be reformed. For the employment, we have to see the market requirements.
The Medical Faculty Students Parents Association asserts that the government should announce the decision to shut down the medical degree awarding unit of SITEM. They added that 200 parents have volunteered to commence a fast unto death if the government fails to respond.
SITEM clearly does not have facilities to award a medical degree, so the medical degree awarding unit in SITEM should be shut down. If not solved, 200 parents have volunteered to engage in a fast unto death campaign on a chosen date. Many, including the President, Prime Minister, along with the others who support this, should be held responsible for lives sacrificed. Both groups united for the rights of our children. The certificate of compliance and minimum standards remain issues. How did they suddenly remember these issues after 9 years? In this paper, they say a certificate of conformity for recognized degree award institute should be provided by a specialized professional institution. The ministry has not named such an institution. This is a crime. I openly asked Minister Kriyalle to answer this. If they have not been allowed to award degrees, why did they put our children in trouble?
Meanwhile, the Inter-University Students' Federation convened a media briefing today in front of the Fort Railway Station where they are staging a satyagraha.
If the government's final decision is to combine SITEM with SLIT or to make it private-public partnership, we argue that it is not the final decision of this battle. If they are given a final decision without abolishing SITEM, they should prepare to leave all their position and go home.
State Minister of City Planning and Water Supply, Dr. Sudarshini Fernando Pulle, says that the government should take immediate legal action against a school principal in the Kakirav educational zone for expelling a student by claiming she was pregnant without holding a proper inquiry. The State Minister made this remark speaking to media following a religious ceremony at a temple in Sidwa yesterday. We request the Governor of the North Central Province to intervene and hold investigations on this matter, as this is a violation against the right to education. When this girl was taken to hospital, the doctors said she wasn't pregnant. This is a child who has done nothing wrong, and if there are principals who take action without holding a proper inquiry, then this is a cause of concern for the future of our society and our children. I also request the President and Prime Minister to intervene and take action by holding an inquiry followed by legal action. This is not about one principle. This is a problem pertaining to the entire social system. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
Five individuals of a family residing in Udammita Jayala were admitted to the Gampola Base Hospital due to food poisoning. A 7-year-old girl who was among the hospitalized reportedly died, while another girl is currently in critical condition. A wild elephant carcass was discovered by residents near the Athimale Temple Rock in Monoragala. According to wildlife officers, the elephant is believed to have died several days ago due to undetermined causes. Residents in Saliyapura, Anuradhapura voiced concern over a construction site believed to play host to various illegal activities. The construction site, which is allegedly owned by the government, is located near Saliyapura Mahavidyalaya.
Minister of Megapolis and Western Development, Partly Champika Ranawaka, points out that 90% of government revenue is spent on settling outstanding debt and accumulated interest incurred during the past decade. Issuing a statement on social media today, Minister Champika Ranawaka addressed concerns expressed over the construction of expressways.
According to data for October 2017 obtained from the International Monetary Fund, Sri Lanka ranks 143rd out of 193 countries with regard to current fiscal balance. Furthermore, we rank 157th out of 193 countries when it comes to cross-government debt. In addition, the country's debt burden amounts to 79.3% of the GDP. Thus, Sri Lanka is ranked on the bottom half of the list. In the past decade, all we did was settle our national debt and accumulated interest with 90% of the government revenue. When we consider the period between 2005 and 2016, Sri Lanka spent 1,700 billion rupees on expressways and highways.
මහා මාර්ගවලටත් වේදම් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Representatives of the Colombo Stock Exchange and the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka were recently hosted by Nasdaq at Nasdaq market site. The commercial marketing presence of the Nasdaq stock market and the location for market bell ceremonies in New York's Times Square. The visit was conducted on the sidelines of the Invest Sri Lanka Capital Market Promotion in New York and included a discussion between the Sri Lankan delegation and Nasdaq Vice Chairman Mayor Sandy Frusher. The Invest Sri Lanka Forum, organized by the CSE and SEC, was held in New York recently with the participation of the investor community in New York. During the week, the SPI dropped 0.90% after recording weekly gains for 5 consecutive weeks, while S&P/SL 20 also recorded a loss of 2.15%. The average daily turnover was down from last week to 981.5 million rupees. Foreigners remained active for the week, where foreign sales accounted for 51.9% of the total weekly turnover. Now, for a detailed picture of how markets will perform during the upcoming week, we have Amanda Lukugamage from First Capital Weekly with our forecast.
Buying interest in the equity market is strong at the moment with increasing local participation as both retail and high net worth individuals are starting to get active in the market. We expect foreign buying interest to further improve. We believe the bullish trend in the stock market may continue in the coming week, though at a slower pace, while profit taking is expected in selective counters amidst upcoming quarterly results season.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.
The Japanese public voted in snap general elections today amid an attempt by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to win back approval ratings, which plunged earlier this year but have since rebounded. Premier Abe called for snap elections in the face of threats from North Korea and is likely to be elected for a third term, making him Japan's longest-serving premier.
Polls opened today amid Typhoon Lan approaching the main island Honshu with heavy rains and strong winds. According to international media, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's decision to call for a snap election is likely to prove beneficial, with his Liberal Democratic Party-led coalition closing in on the two-thirds supermajority it had in Parliament's lower house before dissolution. Abe hopes to gain sufficient public mandate to alter the country's post-war pacifist constitution to expand the role of the military.
Catalan President Charles Puigdemont said Catalonia will not accept Spain's plan to curtail its autonomy in response to Madrid's decision to impose direct rule on the region, sacking the Catalan government and holding elections.
Earlier this week, Spain's government declared its decision to trigger Article 155 of the Spanish Constitution, which would impose direct rule on Catalonia, prompting several protests across the region. Catalan President Carles Puigdemont described the threat of direct rule as the worst attack on Catalonia since General Francisco Franco's dictatorship.
What is being done with Catalonia is directly an attack on democracy that opens the door to other abuses of the same kind everywhere, not just in Catalonia.
No solo en Catalunya. We do what we do because we believe in a democratic and peaceful Europe, and we will continue to do so.
Let's now cross over to a short commercial break.
You are watching Sri Lanka's trusted news brand, Derana 24/7.
Welcome back to the news. Sri Lanka Cricket yesterday announced the T20 squad for the Pakistan tour, which will be played starting from the 26th of October. The team will be led by all-rounder Thisara Perera. The rest of the team includes Dilshan Munavira and Danushka Gunatilaka, who will be seen in the squad after a revised ban for breach of conduct, along with youngsters Sadira Samaravikrama, Ashan Priyanjan, Mahela Udawatta, Dasun Shanaka, Minod Bhanuka, Sachit Patirana, Vikum Sanjay, Lahiru Gamage, Sikuge Prasanna, Derana, Vishwa Fernando, Isuru Dana, Jeffrey Vandese and Chaturanga de Silva. And on to tennis news, Julia Georges beat Russia's Daria Kasatkina in straight sets to win her first WTA title in 6 years at the Kremlin Cup in Moscow. With the win, Georges registered her third victory over Kasatkina in 5 meetings.
German 7th seed Georges, ranked 27th, eased to a 6-1, 6-2 win over Kasatkina, ranked 28th. Georges claimed her third ever WTA title and first since 2011 after finishing runner-up 3 times this season. The victory will see her move back into the top 20, displacing Angelique Kerber as German number 1.
Games and match, Georges.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Let's now cross over to Sad Newpaker at the Other Derana Weather Centre with your forecast for the next 24 hours.
Good evening and welcome to the Weather Centre. Now, tomorrow's temperatures are expected to remain at around 27 degrees Celsius in the western half of the country. The east coast, however, will be much warmer, hitting 33 degrees Celsius in the southeast. However, cooler temperatures in the low 20s will continue in the central hills. Now, a low pressure zone is seen forming across the island during the latter half of the day, bringing widespread showers or thunder showers. That's it from the Weather Centre tonight. Up next is your City by City forecast.
And before we go, we'd like to take you to the Colosseum in Rome, whose upper levels were recently opened to the public, giving them a view from the above. Back in the arena's heyday, the top tiers were reserved for the poor, women and slaves, high up and far from the action. But today, the location offers an exclusive view of the interior of the Colosseum. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.